just jumping on here really quickly because me, being the stupid raccoon that I am, has somehow managed to delete the intro that I recorded to this video. I still have the rest of the video. Literally just the intro. I don't know how that happened, but it's gone, so I'm just re-recording it now very quickly. So some of you might remember about just over a week ago, I think, I hit 200 subscribers on YouTube and decided to do a Q&A video. That is this video. So I just quickly want to say thank you to everyone who asked me a question. I got quite a variety of questions. I got more than I was expecting, which was really good. And I had a lot of fun answering those and giving my opinions on things. So yeah, not going to take any longer with this. Thanks again for all the questions, and I hope you all enjoy the video. So the first question is from Kokoro, or Kokoro. I'm not too sure how to pronounce your name, so I'm really sorry if I've got that wrong, but feel free to correct me, that's absolutely fine, then I'll know for future. They have asked, how long does it take to make your puppets? I love them so much. Well, thank you. I'm really glad you like them. That makes me really glad to hear that people like my puppets. So it's really hard to say how long exactly they take me to make, because I do puppets on commission. It can be quite hard to say exactly how long they take because I don't really track my hours, I just kind of make stuff. And usually I'll have 1 or 2 commissions on at once, so often I'll be working on a puppet and also a fursuit, and maybe a few fursuits, a few puppets, so it's kind of hard to say. Although, if I was just working on a puppet and nothing else within my kind of work hours, I could definitely get one done within a week, or maybe even less than a week, like 5 days or so. That's my normal kind of working week. I'm self-employed, so I kind of work from Monday to Friday. 10 till 6 is my usual hours. So I'm pretty sure if it was the only thing I was working on, I could get a puppet done within a week, or maybe just a few days if it was quite a simple design. Usually when someone commissions me for a puppet, I will say around kind of 2 to 3 months maximum, which is really just to give myself time in case anything comes up. Obviously life can get in the way. I do work a couple of different jobs. Sometimes things come up, anything can happen, or I'll just have a lot of commissions on at once and it takes a bit longer. So definitely if you were ever to commission me for one, no more than 3 months is an absolute maximum, but usually quicker than that. I have a second question from the same person, and they have asked, do you have any tips for first-time fursuit makers and things to avoid? So really, tips for first-time fursuit makers is just go for it. If you want to try to make a fursuit, just do it. Just give it a go. Some good tips would probably be do some research, look at tutorials. There's loads of tutorials online now, which is really good because there wasn't when I was first learning to make fursuits. So look at tutorials, look at a few different ones, look at other people's fursuits, decide kind of what techniques you want to use. There really is no right or wrong way to make a fursuit, everyone does it differently. They are handmade, one-of-a-kind items, so there's no right or wrong. Other tips, I would probably say, if you are a first-time maker, you don't need really expensive materials. And this is something that I want to kind of make clear, because a lot of people will kind of say that it's frowned upon in a way to use cheap materials, but honestly, when you're a first-time maker, I don't see a problem with it. Obviously, if you're doing commissions or if you've been practicing a long time, you might want to use higher standard. So for example, this suit is made of pretty high quality materials, and you can kind of tell because it looks a little bit nicer. But definitely when I was learning, I just used cheap materials I bought from like Leeds Market or the fabric shop, and honestly, cheap materials are fine for practicing. It's a good way to practice without spending too much money. Other tips, I'd really just say take your time with it, there's no rush. Trial and error is a big thing. You aren't going to get it right straight away, unless you're like supremely talented, which maybe it's possible, but you're probably not going to get it perfect straight away. So give it a few attempts, take your time, don't get annoyed if it doesn't turn out perfect the first time. As for things to avoid, the main one I would kind of say is don't copy other people. This is probably just common sense, to be honest. It's absolutely fine to be inspired. Everyone takes inspiration from other people's creations, and that is absolutely fine. But don't copy people, don't blatantly rip off someone else's fursuit design. I think that's really common sense on what is copying and what is inspiration. And if you're really in doubt, there's nothing wrong with just contacting the owner of whatever character you're inspired by and saying, hey, is my design okay, or is it too similar to your design? I'm sure they won't mind, they'll probably appreciate you at least asking. What else to avoid? I would just say don't doubt yourself. Don't expect it to be perfect the first time, because as I said, fursuit making is not easy. A lot of top name makers will make it look easy, but it's not. So just give it a go. Be proud of what you do. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. My first one was terrible, but I was still proud of what I'd done at the time. And the most important thing really is just have fun with it. Fursuit making it's not for everyone, but I do think anyone could give it a go, and you might find it's something you really enjoy. And even if it doesn't turn out perfectly, don't be discouraged, you can always keep practicing. I never saw myself as a full-time fursuit maker, ever, when I first began, because my first one was terrible, but I would definitely say keep going with it. You might end up finding that it's something that you can really improve on and be really good at. And good luck, feel free to show me your creations. The third question for today is from Candy Jack, and they ask, do you have any favourite movies? This is kind of a big question because I have loads of favourite movies. It's pretty impossible for me to choose just one. I love so many movies. But I think if I absolutely had to choose one, I would have to say it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love that film so much. I love the music, I love the characters, I love the kind of connections it has with Halloween, and I'm really into theatre as well, so obviously it has like theatrical connections, connections with like the like punk subculture, alternative kind of stuff. It's related to a lot of things that I really like. I've seen that movie so many times and I never get bored of it, which is why I consider it to be my favourite movie. I've watched it so many times. I've introduced all of my friends who've never seen it to it. I've seen the live stage show, I've been to a drive-in version, I've been to the audience participation screenings. I've seen it so many times and I just love it. So I would definitely say if I had to choose one movie, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Other movies that are up there within my favourite movies would be Evil Dead 2. That is probably considered my favourite horror movie. Definitely the movie Dark Shadows, which I know a lot of people don't like. I just love that movie, I don't know why. Just everything about it, the kind of weird awkwardness it has throughout the whole thing, the kind of mixture of Victorian and 70s styles, which is really weird, the like eerie 70s psychedelic soundtrack, and also like the ball scene with Alice Cooper is like the best thing. I love that film. The other movie I kind of think of within my top three is the 90s movie version of Tank Girl. I love the comics, and I know the comics are very different to the movie, but I just love the movie as well. Like I love them both. Again, just the weirdness of it and the story and the characters and the soundtrack, it's just, I just love it. A couple of more recent movies I would consider up there would be Birds of Prey. I love that as well. I love the look of it, the colours, the characters. It's often like the characters and the kind of colours and like costume designs and stuff that makes me love a movie so much. And another that kind of stands out as a recent one is the movie Ready or Not. That is like a horror comedy. I definitely recommend any of these movies if you're into sort of weird, sort of quirky, slightly horror-based comedy films. That's usually my favourite type of thing. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. I could literally talk forever about movies, which is why eventually I do want to talk about movies on the channel, but it's probably going to be a little while before I can really do that. The next question is from Damien Cares, and he asks, do you still draw your wolf character, Fang? So for those of you who don't know, Fang is a very, very old character of mine. Before I made Uno, before I made most of my other characters, before I even knew really what a furry was, I was still in school and I designed a character called Fang, who was a very basic sort of grey wolf. Not very original, but he was one of my first characters, so he was quite dear to me at the time and I used to draw him a lot. If you scroll like really far back in my Instagram, there's still some artwork of him on there. So I haven't drawn Fang in ages, just because he's an old character of mine. I just haven't thought about drawing him for a long time, to be honest. But that's not to say I won't. I'll definitely try to draw him again at some point. I mean, he is still my character. Even though he's not sort of a main character, he's still my character. So I might draw him again, or at least try to like doodle him, or I might give him a bit of a redesign. I'm not too sure yet, but it's definitely not a no for that question. I might draw him again. I'll definitely try to. The fact that I've had a question asking about him kind of makes me feel like I should draw him again, so maybe. So the next question is from Beatles Praise, and they ask, what is your favourite band? Again, this is a question that I could just spend all day answering because I really like music. I like so many bands. The one band that I do kind of consider my favourite band for quite a few reasons, they're kind of an obscure one. They are called Sick and Beautiful. They're like an Italian sort of rock metal band. This shirt is actually one of their shirts. They're like a rock or metal band, but they kind of have a storyline, and that is that they're aliens who've kind of come to Earth crash landed on Earth and they're using the funds from being a rock band to repair the spaceship and go back to space. And I love that. So they have amazing costumes, amazing videos. I like all of their songs, which is quite unusual. I can listen to both albums and not have to skip anything. And the live shows are amazing. They have like pyrotechnics and lasers and all kinds of stuff, and it's just amazing. So yeah, the reason I consider them one of my favourites is because of everything I already mentioned, but also because they were one of the first bands that really kind of got me into like alternative music. I've always liked alternative music, but they were the first band that kind of got me into concerts and into like really starting to get into that kind of side of it when it comes to music and concerts and things. A few of my other favourite bands include Hands Off Gretel, Nova Crow, Chasing Dragons, The Haxons, New Year's Day, Bad Pollyanna, Twin Temple, X-Ray Cat Trio. I could just list off bands forever, but basically I like a lot of kind of alternative, slightly weird bands. If they have kind of like a sort of unique vibe to them, I'm probably gonna like them. I like a lot of sort of more standard alternative bands, so I like Green Day, I like Panic at the Disco, I like all kinds of things. I like a lot of older stuff, I like psychedelic music, I like 60s music, I really like 80s music, a lot of new wave type stuff. I like Human League, I like David Bowie, a lot of 80s stuff. I will just listen to 80s music forever. But yeah, hope that answers the question. Again, kind of a long answer because I just have so many to choose from. It's hard to just stick to one. And this, I think, is the second to last question. And this is from Crimson Keys, and he asks, egg custards, yes or no? Well, it's been a very, very long time, actually, since I've eaten an egg custard. I can't remember the last time I ate one, but it was pretty good. So I'm gonna say yes to that question. And the last question for today, come to the end already. This is from Ethelred Flametail, and he asks, would you consider doing a collaboration with me sometime? So the short answer is yes, I would. Kind of weird how I make videos because I don't always have a lot of time, so I just kind of make videos when I have the time. So collaborations, realistically, they really depend on what the collaboration is, how much time it's going to take and how much time I have. I would definitely be up for doing collaborations with anyone really. You don't have to be like a super close friend of mine, provided that you're like a nice person. I'm always open for doing collaborations, doing different projects. So honestly, never be afraid to message me. I'm a very kind of chilled out person when it comes to socialising and replying to messages and stuff. It's never a bother. So if you have an idea in mind, you want to collaborate with me, you want to give me an idea, feel free to do that. Send me a DM, leave me a comment, anything like that. Yes, I would definitely be up for a collaboration. So yeah, don't really know what to do for a collaboration, but yeah, feel free to send me a message and I'll gladly see what I can do and we can come up with something. So that's going to do it for all the questions. That was all the questions I got. It was more than I was expecting, and I kind of like how it was kind of a variety. There were a couple about my work, a couple about me, about all sorts of different things. So yeah, thank you to everyone for sending me questions. Maybe when I reach another kind of milestone, I'll do another Q&A. Maybe at 300 or maybe even 250 if that's what people want. So yeah, let me know if you liked the video. Hopefully people did. Hopefully it was interesting and not too random, although that is kind of the nature of my work usually. As for what's coming next, I'm not going to go on for too long. I am working on a podcast with a friend at the moment, which is a furry-based podcast. So we'll make a video actually kind of announcing that, and I'll put that up when I can, and I'll give links in the description to the podcast itself. So yeah, look out for that if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. If not, I have a lot of other stuff coming up soon. I'll be posting another video of commissions I've worked on. I really want to start doing a series about movies and stuff soon, and maybe just some story times and other kind of random things. So yeah, I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thanks to everyone who asked a question, and I will see you all next time.